It was perfect. We're just talking to a couple of the officials from the respective clubs, and they say that this is without doubt the best surface in the competition. They've done $5 million worth of renovations, as we see in the Adelaide rooms. Tyson Edwards, bit of boxing there for a couple of the Hawthorn players. What do you think of both of these sides, Gary?
Well, they're both in different stages in terms of the home and away premiership race. As we said, it is absolutely perfect conditions for football. Adelaide up against Hawthorn, NAB Cup quarter-final action. Before proceedings get underway, though, on a tragic note, there was a horrible accident on the roads down here in Smithton in Tasmania in which 5 people passed away. As a sign of respect, we are going to observe 1 minute's silence.
I invite you to stand and join with the players and umpires to observe a minute's silence in memory of the 5 young women who recently lost their lives in the tragic car accident at Burnie. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Well, as I say, a welcome to Dwayne Russell for the very first time this evening. Dwayne, we're excited about the game, of course, but just a very nice, touching moment there for what has been a tragedy here in Tasmania throughout the week.
It really has rocked the state, Gary. 3 teenagers from a girls' basketball team, one of their mothers and their pregnant coach passed away in that tragic accident, and it was great that the players were able to show their respects and everybody here at the ground. It is a magnificent night, or twilight, for football, and looking forward to getting this one underway. The umpires tonight: Brett Allen, Martin Ellis,
Tails.
Sean Ryan and Chris Camelons.
Tails it is. Thanks, boys.
And tails it is. Richard Vandenberg in his 2nd season as captain of the Hawks, and Andrew McLeod, who wants to sign a new contract, but he's yet to sort that out with the Adelaide Crows.
Well, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. The Adelaide Crows will be hanging on to him. Let's go down to ground level. Well, our boundary rider tonight is Chris Jones. Jonesy.
Thanks, Gaz. Well, a lot's been said about this NAB Cup. I can tell you, after speaking to both of these teams, they're pumped and ready to go tonight. They also had a lot to say about this surface. The ground looks a picture. The surface, they say, is the best in the AFL. Also, keep an eye out for the Adelaide Guernsey. That's the clash jersey that they're going to wear during the regular season. You'll see it for the first time in round 3 against Melbourne.
Good on you, Jonesy. Thanks for that. Look forward to getting back down to you throughout the course of this evening, gentlemen. I think it's going to be a beauty. These new rules haven't had a massive impact, but speaking to some of the players and the coaches of both these teams, they expect a pretty fierce, hard-running contest tonight. Well,
and so they should. I'm just having a look at the bench players, Gary, and the indications are that Adelaide are going to start a couple of their stars on the bench. Simon Goodwin, who was pretty good with 27 possessions last week against Port Adelaide, is going to start on the bench. So too Tyson Edwards. So a couple of their experienced campaigners not going to be in the starting 18, whereas Hawthorn's bench have got a couple of young players also starting on the bench tonight. Max Bailey, one of them, who will make his debut, pick 18 in the 2005 draft. The big man who was the tallest player in the competition outside of Sandilands, didn't play last week against Richmond.
Keeping in mind that Everett and Crawford aren't playing tonight, Gary, is this nearly the best side that Hawthorn can put together? Look, and are they doing that for a reason?
I think they're playing. They've got the opportunity to blood some youngsters. They've got 2 players that are playing for the very first time, in Birchill and also Max Bailey, and you won't miss him. He is an absolute monster. But they've also got the nucleus of their senior side, and I think that's the way to go about it. A bit of negative press about the NAB Cup. That's each to their own, of course, but depends where your team's at in their preparation. And both coaches on the record saying they want to win the NAB Cup, so we couldn't be in for a better contest.
Right, Andy?
Everyone's right. Campbell, you can see in the middle there with Mitchell, Smith, another experienced campaigner, and Hodge. The starting 4 for Hawthorn, and Biglands is going to do the ruck work for Adelaide. Scott Thompson, one of the Adelaide Crows, in the centre. Riley as well to start as part of the centre 4. And the bounce, and we're underway. Bigland stumps it down to Hodge. Can't break free. Knights, who was great last week. Massey to Shirley, ran into trouble, then out of trouble, almost didn't know which way he was kicking. McGregor, manhandled by Croydon. Ken McGregor, 12 possessions last week and a goal against Port Adelaide. Ken McGregor.
Big job for young Zach Dawson. He's picked up Ian Perry, who's a very, very good player.
Most contested marks last year for Adelaide, McGregor, and he goes toward Henschel, who's been in good form so far this season as well. Ball out of play, and we'll see it in with the boundary umpire coming in 15 metres.
Jacobs has picked up Henschel, so he had a good game, Jacobs, last week as well. Should be a good contest.
Here we go with Biglands getting the front spot. Campbell at the back. Bode copped one high and he's within distance, and he'll have a shot at goal. What do you think of Matthew Bode, Gary? Coming back from injury this year, it's his 9th year. Shown a lot of promise. Has he shown enough for what he's delivered?
As for me, underrated, I think, Brian. Lives in the shadow, of course, of Rashudo and Edwards and McLeod and Goodwin, so I think he's a very good ball winner.
His 9th year at the elite level. Matthew Bode, left footer for the Crows from 45. That's a good-looking kick. Not a lot of wind here tonight, just offline. Minus score. I think, no, it's a goal. In fact, it is there.
Standard broadband not fast enough? You need A&R's ADSL2 Plus broadband. Up to 50 times faster than standard broadband. And up to 400 times faster than dial-up internet. No dial-up cost. Don't tie up your phone line. No setup fee. Get a free modem for less than $1.40 a day. A huge 5 gig limit. A&R ADSL2 Plus broadband. Internet that's smoking.
Matthew Bode almost confirming the point made by Brian Taylor. Just the 2 games last year, but also confirming with that goal he's got the talent, as Gary Lyon said, to be a big playmaker for the Adelaide Crows. Thompson, shaven head, leaves it for Skipworth. Back to Massey. He also didn't have a big input last year. Just the 3 games for the Crows last year. Chris Massey. McLeod shrugs one tackle. Pretty hard to get through Hodge. Biglands tries to burst through. Back to McLeod. Too far out to score. Wants to centre it. Goes to the hot spot. Perry the flyer. Ball thumped clear of Perry and Henschel to Guerra. Don't mess that new hair up. Riley gets the handball out to Knights. Snaps the goal from 45. Sensational start. Chris Knights.
Big raps on this boy too, Chris Knights. And he played very well last week. He's lined up on the wing opposed to Chance Bateman, who's a very important player for Hawthorn. So to get a goal on the board early is important. Just a class act. And look, the thing about this forward line for Adelaide, they've got these tall options, just some classic McLeod there, the sidestep, but they don't tend to get in each other's way too often, and there are not too many defenders who outmark them. So some quality crumbs available if you're smart enough. Just sitting off the back of the pack there, but that's a very nice finish from the young boy Knights.
Knights with the 2nd goal for Adelaide. 26 possessions last week. In his 2 games in the home and away competition last year. And just a very young player in the big scheme of things for Adelaide.
Hawks got Franklin and Roughhead both playing inside 50.
Campbell, Biglands, getting first hand of that.
No
Riley
chance.
put his head over the ball, and as the umpire rightly said, no chance. Beautiful conditions here, no wind. Ground is just like a bowling green. Riley, quick kick out of the pack, and there's some interference, so it'll be McGregor's ball against Crow, and this one is just outside 50. McGregor winds up, decides the chip. Perry's got the break. Henschel in the pocket, grabs it. No competition comes at him. Looks to get back on the right. He's straightened the angle nicely. It's all about how he executes, and he's got it. Adelaide have got 3 and 4 minutes.
The countdown continues at Radio Rentals.
But you can dive in early and get your choice of 5, 4, 3, 2 or 1 year's interest-free.
On Radio Rentals' massive range of widescreen, plasma and LCD TVs. A huge selection of fridges and freezers. And even fabulous furniture. Plus, Radio Rentals will beat any price. Race in and score a winning deal at SA's biggest electrical retailer. You'd be mad to shop anywhere else.
13 possessions against Port Adelaide last week. 7 marks and 6 goals too. Henschel.
Dwayne, extraordinary situation. 15 possessions, Adelaide. Hawthorn players yet to register a stat.
That is amazing. Will they get one here? No. Surely he gets one to McLeod. Over the top to Thompson. Smith chases. Thompson goes down. Smith, was that a throw? Regardless, it won't count. It went to McLeod. It's ineffective. Biglands to send it back inside 50. Perry's got to jump at it. He's got more than that. He had the bump at it and then didn't have to jump at it.
I've got to say, Alistair Clarkson makes his way down. I'm not sure if there's a problem with the communication between box and bench, but the coach of Hawthorn down the ground, maybe he wants to see if there's something going on. They've had one touch. I've got to stress, these three big tall forwards, boys, they work together beautifully.
Played all 25 games last year, Ian Perry, 39 goals and the most marks for Adelaide last year. And that was touched off the boot, so a behind. Let's go down to Chris Jones.
Yeah, well, as you said, Alistair Clarkson's come down. So has Mark Evans, the football manager. So there's a big chance there's a problem up in the box. The rest of the staff are staying up there for the moment. I'll find out.
That would be a little unsettling, especially at this time of need for the Hawks. There's Campbell. Still no real positive possession. Burton with the left boot. Puts it to the hot spot. Strong Jacobs.
Well, he's got his hands full, Danny Jacobs, with Henschel, Crodes on McGregor, Dawson, as we said, on Perry. Three big jobs.
It's a great forward line, isn't it? Perry, Henschel, McGregor, Burton, Bode. It is just very, very well equipped. Here's Bateman. Gary's man on the wing, out of side here. Kept the ball high, doing a nice job. Miller over the top. They run here. Handball come to Clark. Kick in towards the big fella. Couldn't quite pull it off. Franklin. And over the line, forward pocket.
In 10 metres.
I guess that's what the Hawks hope to replicate with Roughhead and Franklin, and they also got the other big fella down there in Simon Taylor.
Taylor gets caught behind Biglan's in the ruck contest. Riley. Handball over the top. Bock kicks toward the wing. Free kick, and it'll go McGregor's way. Alistair Clarkson can't apply to have this game started again, Kenny Gary, for no communication devices. He'd like to call it back. At the moment, being led in every contest. Bode got on the end of that short pass and in turn gave it to Perry. Short pass to Henschel. And did he hold it long enough? No. Mitchell, the crumb. They should get out of trouble. They do. Sewell to Guerra. Wide ball. The captain, Vandenberg. Maybe he can spark something. Chips it over the top, and Harry Miller takes the mark on the wing for Hawthorn.
Thought about going inboard, decides the better of it, and Bateman's the right option. Almost on the NAB Cup logo. Chance Bateman. Short ball. Finds Rick Ladson. Very nice on the left foot. Franklin presents, and within the journey, I would think Lance wants to give it off. Does. Punch away was good by John Cobb. And let's go down to Chris Jones, ground level.
Well, it's a bit like musical chairs down on the bench. Alistair Clarkson has now gone back up to the box, so I imagine there was a problem with the communication to the bench.
Got to wonder about the decision of Franklin then. When you got those tall forwards, why not attack the top of the goal square?
Would have happened in your day, Gary and Brian. Would have had a shot from there for sure. Franklin. Edwards lays the tackle. Handball comes out. Reese, centering kick, top of the square. Roughhead got hands to it. Williams hands to it, but lost it. Roughhead back to Ladson from 35, nails it.
Metropolitan Plumbing. Metropolitan Plumbing. Metropolitan Plumbing. Metropolitan Plumbing. Metropolitan Plumbing. Metropolitan Plumbing. Metropolitan Plumbing.
Just a quick reminder that Metropolitan Plumbing can fix leaking taps, block drains, plus hot water repairs and replacement within the hour. All areas, 24 hours, 7 days. Yes, 7 days a week.
Metropolitan Plumbing.
Hawks' first goal of the game comes at the 9-minute mark of this first quarter. And Rick Ladson, the man with the solid left boot. Biglan's. Good body work in the middle. Edwards. Handball astray from Skipworth. Has now got it all to do. But in they come. That was Reese. Ladson again. Beautiful kick. Dropped it, Roughhead. Comes off hands to Hodge. Hodge a quick snap. Across the face. That was better play. Much more impressive from the Hawks. Chris Jones.
Alistair Clarkson, he made one move when he came down to the bench, and that was put Rick Ladson on. So maybe he should stay down here.
Well, he could have sat with the president, Jeffrey Kennett, there, sitting in the grandstand. But that was beautiful movement of the ball, Brian. You're dead right. It was just Jared Roughhead's hands that let it all down.
John Cock. Nice pass to Ben Rutten. Had a good game against Treadray last week. Ben Rutten kept Treadray to just 2 marks and 2 goals, and they were in the last quarter. Massey to Goodwin to Knights. Nice piece of work. Henschel working with Jacobs, who goes to ground, but he gets it. And around trouble. They did it pretty well in the end. Zach Dawson helped them out. Brown, chip kick good. And Mitchell takes the mark between back pocket and half back flank. And Harry Miller can't trap it before it goes out of play, and will get a ball in. Adelaide Crow bench. Thompson having a sit down. Marek, Vince, Jericho, Hinge and Burton. Bernie Vince playing his first game for the Adelaide Crows. Didn't play last week. John Hinge did, but yet to play a senior AFL game in the home and away season for Adelaide. And we'll get a look at him tonight as well. Secondary ball up as Hayden Skipworth, who had 15 possessions last week, gets to his feet. Big pack around it. Van Berlo. Kick off the side of the boot. Harry Miller can't trap it. Knights again. Got the handball out. And got a free kick. Adelaide ball.
He's a good size, isn't he, young Knights?
Well, here he is. Has already kicked the goal. And this one's to the leader. Perry Brown did well to stand in front of the charging forward. He's renowned for that. Here's Campbell Brown. Ladson working deep in defence. Crow, short ball. Now, this is not what it should have been. Bode made a contest. McGregor working hard. The Hawks eventually. Reese on to Crow. Pretty ugly attempted kick. Was mopped up by Jericho. Goes to Bode. They've got it on. Henschel can run all the way. Sizes up the goals. Missed it to the right. Was hoping for a bit of win from right to left. Nothing on offer.
Well, not much Hawthorn defenders can do there when a footy's turned over like Trent Crow turned it on, running out of defence, just turns it straight over the opposition. You're always going to be caught offside.
Danny Jacobs, the only premiership player on Hawthorn's list.
Bring it in, Danny. Play on.
Gets the hurry up from the umpire. Henschel comes at him. He's cornered a bit. Hasn't got a lot to go to. By hand to Bateman. He's in trouble. Perry's got him. And the kick rolls out of play before Clark can trap it. Good result, Adelaide.
Very good. Ugly setup from Hawthorn. He played on, looked up, and there was nothing but Adelaide players. No one presenting at all.
That was the Hawthorn bench. Ball back into play. Marek knocked it down. Bode, half court. No free kick to Skipworth. He thought he was going to get it. Marek back to Bode. Play on Mitchell. Jacobs. Lewis. Tucked into the pocket. Going nowhere. Ladson. Mitchell. Wide ball. Sewell. Boundary line. They're away. Not a lot to kick to. Lance Franklin the only option, and he gets there. Can't half volley it. McGregor might make it tough. Handball away is okay. Sewell taken over the boundary line and will get a ball in.
Great effort by Lance Franklin. I mean, he was the only target, and the lead was 150 metres. Didn't quite get there. Got it on a half volley. Was able to keep it up. That is as good as a big pack mark.
He's the only one supplying any forward movement at the moment across that half-forward line for the Hawks. And a number of times he's presented up and been the only Hawthorn player to do so. Here's Hodge. Reckless handball, Shirley. Edwards. Good tackle, Reese. Hodge. In fact, it was Sewell to tidy up. Mitchell. Campbell Brown now to get it out towards Jacobs. Transfer of play on here. Now Miller's got to run hard. He does and comes inboard to Ladson. It cleared space for Ladson, did the Miller lead. Now they run through the middle with their best and fairest of last year, Hodge. The handball to Lewis. Put him under the pump big time. Now Jacobs has got it all to do again to tidy up across halfback. He's got one target wide and he's missed him. The target was Boyle and he has stuck it down the throat of the Crows on centre wing.
Jericho, just the 5 games last year. Jericho, and he's been on the list for a while now. Couldn't break into the 22 in the finals. Inside 50, and we'll get another ball up.
Adelaide, they defend well, the Crows. I mean, they do take the opportunity to get across and help out each other, zone off their opponents.
Ball up, play on, you heard. Sewell, another backhand ball to Ladson, goes wide to Bateman with some room to move. Chance Bateman against a couple of opponents, gets the kick away to Franklin, tucked into the corner, gets the handball out just in time. Back to Bateman. Ball bounces unkindly. Knights, normally clean-handed, does nicely. Perry about to get caught, does get caught. Big time tackle by Zach Dawson. Play on, back to Knights. McGregor inside 50, and Jacobs will allow it to roll out of play.
When Franklin presents, Gary, he's the only one going for the Hawks. He's got no help running with him, and he's tackling 3 Crows.
Yeah, well, the 2 or 3 players, Knights in particular, set the a wall across the centre line, and it makes it very difficult. But full credit to Franklin.
No, back here.
Umpire Ellis there just issuing the instructions to the players. 13-point margin Adelaide's way. Miller's got space, but he looks ahead, and there's a 3-on-1 Adelaide's way. Boyle presenting again. Now, this is both on same sides of the ground, Gary.
Yep.
Boyle on that side's the only presenter. Franklin on our side against 3 Crows. So something is not right in the structure there. Henshaw thrown to the ground.
I think they've been overwhelmed up forward, so they have got 1 or 2 back behind the play to help out their defenders on those tall forwards, which when they do win possession in the back half, they haven't got the numbers across the middle of the ground.
So the idea there to be stop the flow of goals first and then go.
I think so. It was a bit overwhelming there.
Fair enough. Jacobs, one hand. Support at ground level. Sewell now has it. Around the body, but once again, a wall of Crows. Edwards couldn't trap this.
It does probably mean 1 or 2 of the other Hawthorn forwards have got to push up and not perhaps play quite so deep so they can get some competitiveness around the middle of the ground. Hawthorn players there racking up plenty of possessions. Ladson and Bateman.
Matthew Bode having a rest. It was almost a throw by Reese. Marrick through traffic. Gets it to Hinge, the new boy. Half a stat. Perry flies, can't bring the mark down. McGregor off hands, nice bit of work around the body by Riley, and it's through for a behind.
Good attempt by Perry. McGregor to get over the top. In the meantime, Miller's got it at half back. Good kick, got it into the area where Brown was waiting its arrival. Here's Bateman with a run. We'll be watching his performance very closely tonight. Franklin wide. Just got hold of that one. Plays on outside the boundary line, and that'll be out of bounds. That's exactly right. Umpire said you played on outside the boundary, and they're
2 metres outside the boundary. You've got to bring it back inside.
Exactly.
The fact that he's a left footer didn't help him then, poor old Lance Franklin, because the left footer naturally swings onto his left boot.
But Gary, that's a rule that you should know.
Well, I'm just saying, as a right footer, he would have been coming back in. I think he's a bit harsh.
What are you allowing for the arc and the left footer?
A bit of the arc, Brian.
They're special, are they?
Yes.
Williams crashes through, wins a good ball, concedes 30 to go forward with a Ladson handball. Missed Hodge. Skills aren't good for the Hawks just at this moment. Adelaide with the numbers. Ball out wide. And Van Berlo spots up his man.
3 on 3.
And is able to find Vince.
Just on now, Bernie Vince. Couldn't find a teammate with the ball, though. And Crode will go wide to Mitchell. Opportunity here. Mitchell can't trap it. Goes back, gets it. Ladson supporting him. Ignores that, goes longer. Franklin, 2 to beat. Bock, one of them. And Bock takes the mark. 4th full year on the list for Nathan Bock. Rookie elevation back in 2002. So this could be his season. Hopefully for his sake, he has a good one. Riley takes it on the wing. Lead comes from Perry. Gets there, takes the diving mark.
Thanks, stay there.
Got Zach Dawson on him, so the inexperienced Zach Dawson only played 2 senior games. That'll make it tough for him. John Hinge, elevated off the rookie list last year from Sacred Heart College. Sent the kick in, and it'll be a free kick, and it'll go to McGregor.
Pretty good decision.
Shepherd off the ball, had no intention of going for the footy, just to shepherd his opponent out.
Pretty good decision by that man there, that umpire number 19, whatever his name is, Brian.
That is Chris Camelons.
Just watch the back of the pack there.
Yeah, so Van Berlo was pushed out.
Against Lewis.
Please.
Okay. So here we go. Adelaide pushing forward again. Touch play on. No mark here. Jacobs does well. Immediately responds. Campbell may have got one high. Put his head over the ball there, did Vince. But the Hawks, Brown, dashing out of defence. Forced to go wide again to Boyle. And as Gary has said numerous times, that's because the Hawks have put a few numbers behind the ball kicker and not much on offer downfield.
I think what they've got to try and do, they did it on one occasion, is come back inside into the middle of the ground, because the Crows have got a couple of players out on the wings. They're going to try and take a risk and go through the middle of the ground.
There's Bailey for the Hawks, and Marrick, Ivan Marrick for the Crows. Moved ahead of Meeson in the ruck duel there. The fact that he's played this week and Meeson isn't. Perry, offhand Brown. Just backtracks until he finds the target he wants. This man's been prominent, Ladson, already. Been very good. Off hands, and Zach Dawson going around in circles at the moment. Ladson
In the middle.
did a lot of this last year, the Hawks. Crowd now to open ground. Williams. Franklin's got to arrive as well, and he does.
It's not a bad result for the Hawks because they're outnumbered in their forward line. Chris Massey looks to be okay. Just be careful there, lads. It's only the pre-season.
Had a bit of bad luck lately too, Chris Massey, and 43 games for the Blues, but interrupted career with the Adelaide Crows. On attacking 50 for Hawthorn. Ladson sends it back inside 50. High bomb and getting back, taking another good saving mark. Ben Rutten mentioned his game on Treadray last week. Well, his final series last year after being named All-Australian fullback. Sensational as well. Kept Treadray and Fraser Gehrig goalless during the finals.
And was the captain last week, was he not? I think Ben Rutten, part of the leadership group now, as Jordan Lewis sends this one high. They fly. Roughhead couldn't quite get hold of it. Lots and lots of Crows defenders around the ball. It's Marrick. Sends it into the middle. Thompson did really well because he dropped that. The Hawks were all over it and were sending it back forward. Thompson, Perry presents. Hits the target. It's beautiful free-flowing play from the Crows as they go forward. Good one. The punch away from the Hawks is good. Now Henschel will be first to arrive for the Crows. Jacobs all over him. Bode. Little kick over the top. It was intelligent. Not 15. You heard the umpire. Back to Bode. He'll have another go on the left. This time he elects to go the smart one. Into the hot zone. In front of goals. Under pressure here is Dawson. Gives the handball towards the boundary. Always best to go in that direction first, Gary, when you're unsure. And Brown from defence.
Campbell Brown's chip kick. It was dangerous. Put his captain under pressure, Richie Vandenberg. Ladson now, can they get it straight down the middle? Hands off to Mitchell. Spearing pass, and Franklin takes the mark.
Much better ball movement. Again, Adelaide had players wide on the wing to try and stop them from coming up. They get it through the middle of the ground and get a one-on-one.
Won't be a super goal. Goes for the long launch. And has just missed it. Grazed the post to behind.
Makes a difference for Buddy Franklin. He's not leading 120 metres out to the boundary if they can bring the ball through the middle.
The Crows, who started on top of their game, just being brought back to the field a little bit now with the Hawks, and the Hawks are starting to press. This one's high. Roughhead had a crack at it. Reese was there as well. Kept it in play. The skipper, Richie Vandenberg, the Mildura boy. Off hands Ladson. Smith looks for the lead of Williams. Here's Williams' first real opportunity. Takes a couple on. Looking for the arc. Good kick. Ladson, if he runs, will beat his man. A very, very good touch. I think it may have been a push, though. An infringement against Matner.
He thought it was a goal, did he? Buddy thought Buddy Franklin's kick was a goal, but nonetheless, ball back in the hands of Rick Ladson, who has had an impact since coming onto the ground.
13 disposals, Gary, and that is some sort of impact in 23 minutes of footy.
Especially when you start on the bench.
13 disposals for Rick Ladson. Now, he's got 30 metres. There's a good look at it. And this will be a kick after the quarter-time siren. Ladson comes in, nice and composed. Good fluent run-up. Drops the ball nicely. Just offline, minor score. So the Hawks add another behind to their score. And on the scoreboard, it should read 9-21. Alistair Clarkson would not be happy with the first 10 minutes of that quarter, but Gary, I think the last 10 minutes was better.
Yeah, they settled. They just got jumped. The 3 goals on the board before any Hawthorn player had touched the footy, and they composed themselves pretty well. The Adelaide side look very, very powerful when they do go forward. It's going to be a pretty warm, well, it is a pretty warm night. It's going to be a pretty hot game. We'll go to the break with the Adelaide Crows enjoying a 12-point lead.
Way to a good start, because we know that Hawthorn like to certainly get the ball and play on a lot and move it quickly. So if we could negate that by getting it into our half, which we did pretty well early.
Okay, 298 games, all going according to plan. Round 2, 300th game, the first Adelaide Crow to get there.
Yeah, that's the plan at the moment. So I'll be available to play next week. So just get the body right there, and you know, I've got to get in the side at the moment. The boys have been playing some pretty good footy. So yeah, looking forward to that. It'd be a great honour to be the first for the footy club.
You enjoying the coach's box?
It's not too bad up there. You learn things a little bit differently. So I'll learn what to do there to keep in their good books, I think.
Beautiful. Good luck, mate.
Cheers.
Twice a best and fairest, Ben Hart, 4-time All-Australian. Certainly a player that deserves to reach that 300 milestone, Gary.
Yeah, he is a superstar. Been around for a long, long time, Brian, and a very, very good player indeed. Adelaide dominated the early part of that game. Thought the Hawks settled pretty well. 12 points, probably the right margin at quarter time.
Goodwin and Edwards, two experienced men, still having a sit down for Adelaide. As the second term gets underway, Biglan's to do the ruck work. Robert Campbell up against him. Just the one game last year, Robert Campbell. Round one, injured, and that was the end of his season. Hodge the takeaway. Franklin, it was in there, just couldn't hold it. Matner knocked it out. Little fumble initially by Clinton Young, who had a good game last week, but he got it to Mitchell. Hand to Smith. Long left foot kick. Rough head. Got under the ball a little. Back of the pack. Harry Douglas Miller Jr. He couldn't pick it up for Hawthorn. Slick hand out by Bocto. Missed the target. Rough head. Ball still alive. Van Berlo might get Adelaide out of trouble. Goes with a long launch towards the wing. Skipworth flies and brings it down. Not marked. Play on. Tim Clark. Tries to find Smith. Thompson. Smith. Oh, it's hot in the kitchen still. Skipworth lays on him. Lays the tackle. Umpire says play on. We haven't seen this play on from umpires for a while. Bateman gets the kick away, and the boundary umpire might stifle it all.
And that makes it a super goal, I would imagine.
In fact, there's a free kick downfield. You're right, Gary. Harry Miller gets the play on, pops it up high, rough head, got there, dropped it, gets caught. Good tackle, Massey. Williams, sidestep, gorgeous goal.
And was good enough to do it with just one boot. Mark Williams lost the boot in the passage of play, but was able to keep his wits about him. He's got a different role tonight, not solely playing out of the goal square as we saw him for most of the year last year. I think that's a good decision by Alistair Clarkson. Brian mentioned in the pre-game he hasn't got the size to be able to hold that position down all year, so to free him up, let him run around a little bit is a good move, but he did it very, very nicely.
So Williams, first goal of the second quarter, minus the boot. Biglan's, Hodge, Hawks are away again. Smith will drive this long and give them another opportunity up forward. Williams in front, extends the arms. Roughhead had a go. Now Franklin. This is more encouraging for the Hawks. Johncock under pressure. Burton didn't get the bounce he'd hoped. Franklin intercepted Van Berlo. Along the ground, they'd like the boundary line here, the Crows, just to regain their composure.
I tell you what, Franklin and Roughhead are only a touch away from just taking over the game. I know Roughhead's got his hands to two and dropped them, as is Franklin. They'll realise soon enough they're hard enough to come by without dropping them. So just some fine-tuning of those two players. They're young men, but they're going to be pretty special for the Hawks. Roughhead playing on Rutten at the moment, just running under the footy a bit. That's the presence of Rutten that does that.
Hodge was the third man up. Young, Sewell, all the way back to half-back. Trent Crode, All-Australian centre-half-back last year. Inside 50. Rutten knocked it down. Williams ducked into it. The umpire didn't fall for it. Rutten gets it back again from Burton. Sends it wide. Bouncing ball. Race on here. Guerra and Johncock. Johncock, Guerra. Guerra, Johncock. Gets the handball out. Riley, Smith. In they go again. The umpire might have to sort this out for the bounce.
Good contest out there from both Guerra and Johncock. Just one-on-one contest out on the boundary line. The Hawks certainly lifted this quarter.
And Joel Smith not allowing it to come out the back door there. Locked it in beautifully.
Yep.
Caused the ball up. Mitchell to Smith. Side 50, Franklin. Matner's all over him. Well, lets it go. Here's McLeod looking for the give and go. Thompson harassed by Miller. Good enough to get out of it, Van Berlo. Adelaide full of run from half-back. Matner takes a couple of bounces. Will look to deliver with the left boot. He does. Long inside 50. Perry underneath it. Over the top. He's got time to recover. He's got time to straighten if he wants. Now he's corralled into a bit of a pocket. And the Hawks, this time, through Dawson and now Young.
Got it from Jacobs, wants to give it long and give it to Vandenberg. His captain takes the mark just before Van Berlo shuts him down. Richie Vandenberg.
Made a bit of a mess, seeing Perry of that. They had the whole forward line to run into. He got it out where he needed it and just stumbled.
Franklin flies, doesn't attempt the mark, thumps it clear. And Miller looks up, has Smith. A race on. Smith and Skipworth. Doesn't sit for Smith. Does well. Gets the kick away. Williams waiting for it. Flies. Got it tucked away by Roughhead. Tucked into the pocket. Tries to centre it high. Does centre it high to the square. Big fly by Matner. Knocked it down, but to Franklin. About to get caught. Wants to get a kick away. Shrugs the tackle. Kicks a shocker. Straight to Thompson. And the Crows might be away here. Riley's got the bouncing ball. Didn't bounce all that kindly for him. So it won't break away. McLeod didn't know whether to dive into Young or not. Waited for it. And the umpire will sort it out with a bounce.
Well, again, an example of the fact that Lance Franklin just a fraction away. Did everything. Got the foot, he got into space and just shanked the kick.
Just the composure onto the boots. Happened a couple of times tonight and several times in his first year, which you'd expect. But as Gary said, just that last second is the thing he's got to look at in his disposal. Charging through the Hawks here. This will be another ball up, I would think. A lot of players around the ball. The umpire's letting it go, giving them a chance to get it out. But eventually, umpire Brett Allen, one of the most experienced in the comp, says, give it to me.
The best thing about Franklin's game is how many times he's been involved in the contest. You need a centre-half forward who's just going to keep presenting. You don't have to take 15 marks to have a big impact as a key forward, and he is getting to plenty of contests.
Certainly doing that. Smith. Another ball up. Sam Mitchell. 2001 draft pick Mitchell. Skipworth there. Shirley hard at the ball. So is Young of the Hawks. Biglands now. The standing start. High ball on the head of Burton. Took a good mark. Played on. That's from outside 50. That's a super goal attempt. Offline. Minor score for the Crows.
Bit of a mismatch there in height. Brett Burton, super player for the Crows. Got great athleticism. He's got plenty of size on Brad Sewell at the minute.
Tough kick for Crow to mark, but he gets the free regardless. Good game last week, Brett Burton, against Port Adelaide. 20 possessions, took 9 marks and kicked 4 goals, 3.
He's a difficult matchup as a mobile half-forward, Brett Burton, isn't he, with his engine and ability to run and push up the ground and back with a fly to the footy.
Trent Crow sends a high bomb. Biglands waits under it, probably in the best position. Campbell, good contest. Thompson, good knock. Got it to Skipworth. Matner. Handball cut off by Franklin. Matner tries to mop up his own mess. Harry Miller, caught. Riley, little handball. Thompson, that's a throw. And Miller will have to fight Vandenberg for the ball here. They're both arguing for it.
50 metres.
50 metres, so Vandenberg wins the fight with Miller as he won the fight with Reese at training about 3 weeks ago. And he'll have a shot, maybe from super goal range.
Red hot on this, aren't they, the umpires? It's the free kick here. That's what Richie Vandenberg's all about. Just hard working.
And Matner just refused to give the ball back. He knew who the infringer was, Gary, and just refused to give it back.
Harry Miller used to, when he was first recruited, lived in Vandenberg's house, so he's probably still got right of way over Harry Miller.
Really important that the captain kicks his goal. It is a 9-point play here.
Can he keep the captain's goal? Nice long launch, and for the first time tonight, Hawthorn in front.
Matner there. Pushing the ball down. Clark's the front and centre player. Franklin had another crack. McLeod has spent a lot of time on the bench. Here's Thompson for Adelaide. He can go wide, and it was a good decision to Skipworth, who marks the ball just backward of the centre circle. Skipworth waits for one of those prominent forwards to supply a option that he thinks he can get the ball to. Here they go. Burton in the pack. Perry was there as well. Henschel, the front and centre player on that occasion. Thompson round the body. Here's McGregor. Punch from behind by Crode was effective. Got a couple at ground level, the Crows. Now the defenders arrive. Did Mitchell handball to kick it? I don't think so. Umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt. And Jacobs in the back pocket. Cool.
Smith On defensive 50, hasn't got a lot to go too long. Just pops it up. Chance Bateman takes the mark. 2 lots of shoulder surgery for Chance Bateman last year, wrecked his season. Got some new artwork on the arm. And hoping for a big year this year. And got around with ease. Spears the pass to Ladson. Long launch inside 50. Franklin's there. Matner's with him. Bouncing ball. Side by side. And Matner wins out. Good show of strength against the youngster. To Thompson at full-back. Backtracks almost to the goal square. Sends the handball wide. Matner again. And he holds it up a little, Martin Matner. 24 of the 25 games played by Martin Matner last year. Had a very good season. And a free kick against Hodge.
What's this interference? You said...
Interference, and Van Berlo will take the free for Adelaide.
At half-back, Martin Ellis giving the reasons why. Van Berlo has the fittest player on the Crows list, Perry. Out wide to Henschel. Did the boundary line beat him? No. So with just over 9 minutes to play, Henschel's got it about 70 metres out from the Adelaide's goal.
Got Burton run out in the square against Sewell with that mismatch. I mean, they've got to get it in and get it in quick.
Now, the ball's knocked out of his hands there.
Well, they have been red hot on that the whole NAB Cup.
Yep.
Whether or not he was foxing Tyson Edwards, we'd have to have another look.
Even if it was accidental, you would think that it's got to be there. Van Berlo, the standing start delivery. Henschel knocked it down to where he had 3 ground level players waiting. Edwards' kick was smothered. McGregor's got to beat 4 Hawks. Does that. Henschel bounces off one. Shot at goal. Missed. Minor score. 6 possession for Trent Henschel.
26 goals from his 21 games last year. Trent Henschel did have that spell when he was dropped back to the SANFL for Woodville Torrens. But fought back late in the year. And the start of this year in sensational fashion. Chip kick, Harry Miller, good to Bateman. Thought about the 1-2 going back, that's play on. Fumbled it. Had to go all the way backwards, and they've messed this up again. Ladson's handball, tapped by Bateman. Kroger's in there, led assistance now. Perry goes in, gets caught. Umpire gives him ball.
It's a great tackle from the coach. I think this kicking backwards rule, it's got to be looked at seriously in terms of the
Don't like it, Gary?
No, I do. I do. I think it should be brought in, the home and away.
Ladson to Harry Miller. Boyle goes back in, picks it up, caught by Edwards. Handball out, Sewell under pressure. Bode was with him. Hodge gets caught. And good wraparound tackle by Shirley.
Straight to him.
I think we need to leave the game away, Gary, and make no rule changes.
Now that's 50. That is a dead set 50 metres against the young
Zach Dawson.
Man, Zach Dawson. Should have been a 50. And should have been a super guy.
Sewell to Miller. Miller back to Sewell. Was stolen. Kick inside 50. Henschel sets himself. No win in the air. Brown thought he had pressure right on the tail and quickly gave it to Jacobs. Smith now on the half-back line. Looking for support. Found it in Ladson. Leading possession getter in the first quarter. Off the bench he came. Now Smith. Beautiful delivery. Finds his intended target in the brilliant running of Tim Clark. It's the best part of his game. Bateman's on the lead. Ignores. He's not a big kick, Clark. And McLeod was able to get a piece of that on the mark.
It was the best result in the end because the big man, Ivan Lubacek down there, what's his name? Marek, he was the only bloke down there. So the fact that it was spoiled off the boot, it was a good result.
Ball back into play. Ivan got the knockdown. Tim Clark. It wouldn't have been a mark anyway. That's almost a scoop. Paid okay. Bateman went for the big super goal launch. Kicks it wide. And it's out of bounds on the full. Free kick will go to Chris Massey.
That was a scoop there, Dwayne. No doubt about that. The Hawks just enjoying the rub of the green at the minute.
Tyson Edwards, top 5 in Adelaide's best and fairest for the last 4 years. Finished second twice, but is still yet to win one. To McLeod, who's won plenty. Chip kick from his boot. Rutten takes the mark at half-back flank for Adelaide.
Gives it to McLeod. Skipper of last week to skipper of this week. High Burton went very early. Could have infringed. Ladson. Pretty cool. Round the body. Miller needs to trap it. He's got Reese running in support. Goes straight down the line. Looking for someone to present up. No one there. Out of bounds on the full. That'll be a free kick. Rutten's way. Finds Edwards. Edwards got plenty on across the ground. The ground that's been made here. Massey. Plays on now. Massey, who was a top 10 draft pick at Carlton. Back a few years now. Perry in front. Knock away. Hawks got the numbers. Brown again finds, wearing Jonathan Hayes' old number, Jordan Lewis.
In fact, they've changed. A few players have changed numbers. 8 all up in the Hawthorn team, Brian. That makes it a bit tough. Vandenberg's kept his 21. Shrugs the tackle. Back to Franklin. Twists and turns, goes high. Bateman and Van Berlo. Big bump by Van Berlo. Bateman's down, but he's going to get up shortly. Umpire said no free kick. He tried to get up, Bateman, but he's gone down again. He's hobbling and he's hurt.
Luke Hodge had to give the first handle, then he had time, and they were away, the Hawks.
Bernie Vince wide to John Cock. Chip kick. Van Berlo, who did the damage on Bateman, takes the mark. Sees the lead come from Burton. Puts it in front. Burton can't get there. And it rolls out of play in front of Brent Guerra, who's wearing the old number that was worn by Rick Ladson, who's given up the 18 for number 4. And there's that clash. We were talking about Van Berlo and Bateman.
Boundary throw in deep. Crows forward line. Fighting for the ball at ground level was Ivan Marek from the Kilo area. Basketball area, Gary, the Kilo area, and he had a basketball background, did Ivan Marek. Chance Bateman.
Get the word on Bateman. Might just be a corky, which let's hope that's the case anyway. He's had a wretched run with injury.
Looks like it is. Dr. Lyon picked up by the Adelaide Crows. Vince in a snap, banana style, across the face. 4.5 minutes remaining in the half.
That's where the game's changed. Henschel and Perry took 8 marks between them, 4 each in the first quarter. They've just taken the 1 apiece in this quarter. The Hawks have really pushed hard back, taken all their space, made it 2-on-1 contest, and then worked hard running the footy out of defence.
Dawson got it from Guerra. And now he sends it long towards the wind. Bock. And McGregor flies across the front of the pack. Nice mark. First mark for McGregor. Finds John Cox, centre of the ground. He goes straight down the middle. Henschel's the target. Can't get a hand on it. Knocks it down to Van Berlo. Front and square. Has the shot at goal. It's high. It's drifting. It's wide. Behind. And Adelaide lead by that point.
Jacobs has tightened up on Trent Henschel, doing a good job, and the young man Dawson doing okay on Perry. And look at that, the future, Dwayne Owen.
He took her ball. That was hers.
She was going to grab that ball then.
No room for sentiment in this tough game.
Oh, Gary, come on. Brent Guerra with the new hair. Looks good. Out wide, Jacobs couldn't hold it. Off hands. Burton centering ball, top of the square, good spot, in fringe. Which way? Adelaide, no, go the Hawks way.
Bit of frustration coming in for those very dominant tall forwards early in this game. They're now being denied their space and making it very hard for them, the Hawthorn defenders.
Jordan Lewis wide with a kick. Mark was dropped there by Young, and Ladson mops up. Over. Short ball. Finds the intended target in Reese. Vandenberg gives it on to Clinton Young. He drives the ball inside 50. Need a mark, the Hawks. Taylor almost made it happen. Chest mark in the end. And Vandenberg sees it over the line.
But been a few of those for the Hawks. Marks where they've done all the hard work. This is down the other end, the free kick. Gee whiz, I'm not sure there was much in that, was there, against Trent Henschel?
Nothing.
And Simon Taylor just dropping a pud down there in the forward line.
Reese gave the handball out. Chance here for Vandenberg. Sends it towards the goal square. Ball dropping quickly. A six-pack jump for it. No one brought it down. Martin to the crummer. Slick hands. They should get out of trouble here. Chip kick to Riley is perfectly placed. And here's away. Got it from Hinge and gives it longer. Finds the intended target. Nice piece of work by Bernie Vince to Goodwin. Started on the bench. Now Burton thought about running outside Super Goal territory. Slips it onto the left. Slips it too long for Perry. And we'll get a ball in.
A little bit untidy. Young man for the Hawks. Young Clinton Young. Fortunately, nothing was wrong. Look at that beautiful sunset too, by the way, boys. But needed to be able to lay a tackle on Burton in that situation, Clinton Young.
Just on 2 minutes remaining. Adelaide, forward 50 area. Mitchell, as he so often does with the clearance from the stoppage. Clint Young can keep running, needs someone to run in support with him and tell him to keep going. John Cock now comes at him, long ball. Here they are, Taylor, 1-on-2.
Holding downfield, slung him after he got rid of it. Ben Rutten yours.
Pretty well explained by the umpire. Rutten to Goodwin. Hasn't seen a lot of game time so far. Here's Riley. I think could become one of the real class players of the Adelaide Crows outfit. His skills are great. Mitchell out the back door. Jacobs. Clark. Always running Clark. Vandenberg can run onto this. Now needs composure by foot. Took a bounce. Centering ball. Good one-on-one contest. Fly. No winner. Off hands. Williams Soccer missed. Good build-up for the Hawks. Would have been a nice one just on half-time.
It would have been. Jared Ruffhead's playing that half-forward role at the moment. He doesn't read it as well as Franklin, or he doesn't push himself as hard as Franklin has tonight.
63 goals last year. Mark Williams led that race for the Coleman for most of the year and looks set for another good one this year. He is very hard to stop. Biglands goes wide to Henschel. Too far out for his long leg to score. 40 seconds remaining. Now the long kick. Perry one-on-one. Can't take the mark. Good spoil, Dawson. Ball knocked down to Brown. Clark. Back to Campbell Brown. Won't be able to play in rounds 1 and 2, Campbell Brown. Still to serve 2 weeks of the suspension he got last year. Gave to Mitchell. Hand to Vandenberg. It's a stat fest at the moment. Looping handball over the top is good. Long kick by Robert Campbell. High kick. Bock doing some work. Got the hands on the opponent and then thumped the ball clear. Lewis in the number 3 this year after the 40 last year. To Riley, as you said, Brian, could be his year, 5th year on the list for the Adelaide Crow. Brett Riley. Ball still in dispute. Chance for Young. Siren cuts him off and we'll go to half-time with scores level. And that's a pretty good result for the Hawks, given the Adelaide Crows kicked the first 3 goals of the game and Alistair Clarkson had no communication to his troops early. Perry and a number of the big Adelaide forwards dangerous early, but Hawthorn have hit back, and that man might be able to take them into the semi-final next week. They'll play Melbourne if they get there. Half-time here at Aurora Stadium, and scores are tied.
The way the young Hawks night it is for football here in Tasmania. Aurora Stadium, Launceston, 25 points apiece. And boys, we are just broadcasting al fresco, it should be said, out in the open, this grandstand, which is a magnificent development, not far away from finishing. But Brian and Dwayne, look at the vista out there. That is just some beautiful outlook, isn't it?
We are in a construction zone here, Gary.
Well, we're happy to be.
And by the way, there's a bit of rain at the opposite way to which we look at the moment.
Oh, there's rain out there, is there?
It's lightning, Gary.
Oh, where is the rain?
In the hills of Launceston, it's starting to strike trees like you wouldn't believe.
What sort of cattle would you run out there, Bryson?
You, Angus.
Let's go down to the boundary. The young Angus bull down there, Chris Jones, ready to go.
Oh, BT, I've actually got your back because it really has clouded over here, and it's really, Dwayne has gone from a day match into a night match. The lights have really kicked in. Just on Chance Bateman, he got a heavy knock on the shin, but he will start this second half on the ground. Good
on Jonesy, thanks for that. That's the incident that Chris Jones referring to. A knock to the shin. Wouldn't think they'd risk him. Had a pretty fair half. Chance Bateman, there he comes. No boot. Well, a boot and sock in hand, so maybe would be there if needed, but perhaps wouldn't risk him at this stage. In fact, they have risked him. Thanks, Jonesy. He's out on the wing. They just rushed him back out there. So
he's just giving you a wink, Gary, to say he's okay.
That is good news for Hawthorn supporters.
He's only got Andrew McLeod to go with, so he might have to do a bit of running. Scores level as we start this second half. Amberlo tried to fire out a handball to Thompson. There he is, Bateman. He looks fine. Hodge back to Crow through traffic, and a long 60-metre kick towards Roughhead. Gets edged under the ball by Bock. Couldn't bring the mark in. Harry Miller overran it. Bock chips the kick. Knights just the required distance. Got the handball out, and Massey's kick not so good. How will it bounce for Biglands? Kindly for the big man. Spears the pass in Burton's direction. Over his head, Perry. Big bump from him. McGregor to Burton. Crow read it was going in that direction. Missed Burton, though, whose slick handball is good. Found Bernie Vince. Now to McGregor. He might go back to Vince. Ignores him. Goes to goal and misses. are behind.
See, they're very fortunate. 3 Hawthorn defenders went at Brett Burton on that occasion. They all fell over and were taken to ground, which allowed a couple of Adelaide forwards to stand up. They were just lucky that Ken McGregor didn't have his boots on.
Mitchell for the Hawks. They trail by a point. Been not much in it other than the first 3 goals of the game, which all went Adelaide's way. And since then, it's been tight. Roughhead sends it to half-forward. Here's Franklin. The hole will be Vandenberg's. No, against Vandenberg.
Richie, it's not yours. Adelaide, give it to him now.
Umpire explaining to Richie that he should give it up. And he does. The Crows going wide. McGregor getting down to take a difficult one. Couldn't quite complete it. Now it's picked up in the end by Ladson. He's got absolutely no one downfield to kick to. There were 2 forwards that were in the forward half of the ground. And a boundary line is a good result.
Yeah, people just been working on the radar. No rain within 50 kilometres of Aurora Stadium at this point in time, Brian.
We are going to get a shot of the hills, Gary, and I am going to show you where it is.
Well, no rain on the radar at all.
If we can get a shot of the hills, I'm going to show you the clouds. There they are.
That's called darkness, Brian.
Vandenberg was monstered, so he get another ball up in this AFL day-nighter. First half played in daylight, and
Thanks, Richie. Well battled,
on a
mate.
beautiful night it is for football now, and Richie Vandenberg has to hand it over to the umpire for the second time in the last 30 seconds. Harry Miller to Bateman. He got caught, he got dumped after he got rid of the ball, so Chance Bateman, who kicked the winning goal on the siren here a couple of years ago for the Hawks, goes with a chip kick towards Hodge, shrugs the tackle, strong-legged, gave to Mitchell, inside 50 to Miller, thinks about running on, runs himself into trouble, runs out of trouble, and misses to the near side.
Well, can you be too clever in the end? He did all the hard work. Harry Miller got around the player and then tried to kick a banana rather than run in and kick a drop punt.
Wasn't a great angle, Gary, was it, that he needed the banana?
I wouldn't have thought so. We'll have a good look at it here.
Yep.
That was lovely play.
No banana needed there. That's a drop punt all the way.
Spoken from the former Coleman medalist. End of story. Full stop.
This man here, Riley, will be a real star for Adelaide. He's got great poise, has great foot skills. Gary, keep an eye on him.
Your boy.
He is very good, very, very good from the Romsey area.
Not off.
The Crows through the middle of the ground. Bernie Vince in 6 months has gone from playing seconds to West Torrens to now the elite level as Perry comes in on the left boot. A long ball, just a minor score. Yes, Bernie Vince, halfway through last year, was playing for the West Torrens Football Club, and all of a sudden now playing in the AFL.
Was a South Australia junior state cricket rep as well, so gave up cricket. Another player who gave up cricket to play this great game. Inside 50, Roughhead runs back onto it, tucked into the pocket, tackled by Massey. Box got him now. How will the umpire view this? Stalemate, and he'll ball it up.
Good effort, Massey. Really good chase. Roughhead had worked back under the footy and was able to get back onto it pretty quickly. He's just got to get busy, Jared Roughhead. He's got to get to more contests as well.
There's your man Riley. As you said, 5th year on the list, though. He's need to get it going soon. Hodge through traffic across the face. And Hodge puts it out of bounds on the full.
The first 2 or 3 years, Gary, they were reluctant to play Riley and Dwayne.
Their first round pick back in 2001, they took him pick 12 and only played the 44 games.
You really like him, Brian, don't you?
Is Massey a top 10 pick for the Blues? Has he done enough for a top 10 pick? I mean, it's no licence that you're going to do well, is it?
Broke his leg badly, Chris Massey, which didn't help.
They got the better out of the deal, Adelaide. They gave Andrew Eccles to Carlton in that swap.
We are well researched tonight. There's no doubt about that. Henschel. Short ball in. Thompson. Inside 50, within the journey, you would think.
Pulled up lane, Trent Henschel. After that, he just so impressed with these big, tall forwards for Adelaide. Not too often you see them jumping at the same footy either, which speaks volumes for their ability to work in different areas of the forward half. He's a good kick, Scott Thompson, too. He was a hell of a pickup for Adelaide for Melbourne last year.
Thompson, not a super goal. Man on the mark, stands just inside 50, but will kick it just outside 50. Beautiful delivery. That is a great kick. And the first goal for Adelaide since the 4-minute mark of the first quarter.
The
Crew, 24 of their 25. Scott Thompson after 39 games with the Demons. And a nice accurate kick there to stretch the margin again. Mitchell plays on out of the middle. Vice-captain for the Hawks this year. That is a great kick, Young. And he marked it in Super Goal territory, but that thin leg might not be able to make the range. Clinton Young began last year on the rookie list. As we said, 14 possessions last week.
Oh, Joel Smith on his own, inside 50.
He's going to go for the big one, Gary. 9 points. Left foot kick. Pretty good off the boot. It's going. It's going. It's still alive. Biglands on the line. Got it towards Bow. Gets the handball out to Skipworth. Longish kick. High-ish kick. Centre of the ground. And the good mark taken by Taylor. Hands off to Crode. He gives a quick one off to Zach Dawson. Vandenberg mops it up. Now Guerra, caught, good tackle. Burton ran him down and pulled him down like a calf.
Fantastic chase from Brett Burton. Forward running hard to help out. Great chase.
Silly place in the end. He knew he had to go behind the mark and he tried to play on. Wasted vital time while they had free players downfield, but now they move it. Bateman. Mitchell is brilliant by hands. Vandenberg to Ladston, who's given them plenty of run all night. Driving ball inside 50. Here they go. Goes the big fella in Biglands. Couldn't complete the mark. Off hands. Kick, I think, is out of bounds on the full. It is. And I think that was Bock. Play on immediately. Kick long by Boyle. Goes towards Roughhead. Couldn't control the ball. Here's Biglands. Doing well, the big fella. Roughhead overran the ball. Needs to get body behind it, Gary. Biglands has done well, exceptionally well for a tall ruckman in that situation. But Hawthorn still alive. Ladson. Ground level ball. And we'll have a ball up here. Umpire. Well, he let it go. Now Ladson, short ball. Williams on the lead.
Well, he did do well, Big Rhett Biglands. Didn't think he went back quite hard enough the first time, but then he had 4 or 5 other efforts. I think most players in that situation thought that the ball was going to be balled up, as you call, Brian, but the play on was allowed, and now Mark Williams has a shot at goal.
He does indeed, looking for his second goal. Directly in front, Williams. He's normally a very accurate kick for goal, and this is no exception. The Hawks back in business.
About 14. Russell Robertson about 14. Most players take upwards of 13 or 14.
You got to get out more, Pipe.
No, it's any kid who wants to learn how to kick a goal. Mark Williams is the one, and Trent Henschel is not. From the ball up, and we'll get a secondary ball up.
Come down with the tackle. Thank you.
Ball handed back by Tim Clark. 21 games last year. Averaged 18 possessions last year, Tim Clark, in his best season yet. Hawthorn free kick, arms over the shoulder. They're looking good, Hawthorn. They're only a point behind, but they've got some momentum. Go over the mark, Taylor is told. So Simon Taylor, playing at home, a Tasmanian, goes long, Roughhead, the big leap. Couldn't bring the ball down, Smith. Thompson. Smith gets there first. Thompson gets him. Too high. Play on advantage. Clark to Mitchell. Centering kick. Top of the square. Reese had it. Lost it. Forced to lay the tackle on Hinge. Ball still alive. Roughhead finds the handball target. Clark now to Mitchell. He's caught. That's holding the ball. Umpire says no play on. They've changed more rules. From the ball in. Long kick by Jericho. High towards half forward. Big fly by Brown, couldn't bring it down. Brings down McGregor and brings him down. Oh, nearly illegally, and it was in Super Goal territory too.
A big fly by Brown was impressive, but he let the footy get behind him, which could have cost them. Sam Mitchell's the one that's been sparking Hawthorn this quarter.
2 Adelaide ruckmen collide there. A misunderstanding. I tell you what, the Hawks are just pressuring the Crows now in this last 5 or 6 minutes. They've done all the attacking. McLeod. Short ball, Edwards. Plays on immediately, deliberately to McGregor at centre forward. Went under the ball. Now the Hawks can respond. Ladson has had 27 possessions in this game already. Got it out wide to Miller. On the left. Offering the lead, Williams.
Great kick, Harry Miller.
Super goal territory. Williams, long ball, top of the square. Mark has been taken by Bailey.
Well,
Max Bailey.
It was a great mark, Brian, made even greater by the opposition. And he is a young man playing his first game of footy. That is a beautiful left foot pass to Williams. Williams got the ball on quick, should be more of it. One out in the goal square. Then have a look at this and have a look at who he's opposed to. Well, we will in a minute. Ben Rutten it was.
Taking it, pick 18 in the draft. He's got it. He's happy with it. Hawks are back in front. Bailey's got his first goal in footy.
First game, All-Australian fullback. Just the hip and shoulder. One grab, pluck on the goal line. Nice way to get your first kick in senior footy.
Height, one out there too, Gary. Second tallest player in the competition now, Max Bailey. The boy from West Perth. From the ball up, Goodwin, who started on the bench, to Marrick. Nice handball to John Hinge. Long inside 50, Perry. Zach Dawson right with him. Jacobs. And now Crode, tucked against the boundary line. He can't find a target. He finds Bode. Too far out to score, Matty Bode. Short pass to Henschel. Gets the play on call. Caught. Got it up just in time. Long kick. Super goal chance for Skipworth. And he's put it through.
Two goals tonight. That second one there was a super goal. And the Vermont Football Club, $1,000 richer thanks to NAB, his grassroots football club.
Fantastic initiative it is, and $1,000 goes a long way to grassroots footy clubs.
It does indeed.
In there, Hawthorn. Play on advantage.
Out of the middle, Mitchell. Ladson, a leading possession getter on the ground. Sends it on the way. This time, the more experienced Rutten with the front position.
Max Bailey's thinking, All-Australian? What are you All-Australian? Now he finds out.
Edwards.
Half-back flank held up. Started on the bench, Tyson Edwards. Only the 6 possessions last week against Port Adelaide, so just working his way into the season slowly. Finds Bode. 42 plays, 38. Big super goal from Knights. Bach. High, wobbly kick. Narrick, Campbell, Goodwin flew. Campbell came down with the ball. Gets caught just in time to Reese. Now Bateman. He can go long if he wants. He goes inboard to Clark. Put it behind him and put Clark under immense pressure. Now Riley, Goodwin, McLeod. Haven't seen a lot of Andy McLeod. Goes wide. Henschel might be first onto this. Will be first onto it. Runs to 50. Just on the line and sprays it. It is tempting, I think, the super goal. You just get a little carried away. The rush of blood, the excitement factor, and whoops.
Good contest now between Henschel and Jacobs.
4 points to Adelaide at the moment as we speak. Sewell with a long ball, Bateman's direction. Bode to keep him honest, the 2 10s. And there is Hinge, who Gary has nicknamed the Door. I don't think it's that funny, Gary.
You are unbelievable.
Crows inboard, looking for Perry, and the big fella Campbell across the face.
You're solid, Riser, I tell you what.
Robert Campbell said in the Australian, the big ruckman for Hawthorn, about 5 years on the Hawthorn list. It's time I did something, and he's hoping to make this his year. Smith through the midfield. Goes with a long kick. Williams can't quite get there to attempt the mark. Race on. Boundary line might beat them both. Williams keeps it alive. Superb chip kick over the head of Clark. Marrick gets back. Big man with some poise. With a poetry in slow motion. Gave to Edwards. Now longish. McLeod. He'll enjoy a run if he can get around Williams. Spots Henschel a long way from goal. He can play on. Dishes it up to Bode. Runs to half forward. Perry's the intended target. Flies. Crowe's fist wins out. Thumps it all the way across the line and will get a ball in.
Well, Zach Dawson, he will have learned a lot. Great effort here. Chris Massey should know better than that to just run past the fellow the contest, who's at the contest. But Zach Dawson on Perry will be learning more tonight than probably he has in 5 years of footy.
We have got a game for you on 9 tonight. Tight one. Jacobs. Crowe tidies up around the back door to Brown. The skipper. Vandenberg now Mitchell. So good run here. The kick execution by Mitchell was poor on that occasion.
There's nothing presenting for him either up the ground.
As Chris Knight's got the super goal a moment ago. Ball in dispute. Picked up in the end by Jericho. High ball one. Here we go. What can we see in the air? Mark's been taken. I don't know whether it will be paid. The free kick. There you go. You heard the umpire. Fair enough. Campbell Brown.
As against Ian Perry on that occasion.
So Brown to Bateman, and he runs the defensive 50. Put him under a bit of pressure. The handball back to Jacobs and a chance Bateman again. Long kick, wide kick, and not a very good kick, and it rolls out of play in front of Roughhead and Rutten.
Yeah, Jared Roughhead. He's got, look at the numbers there for Rick Ladson, and Sam Mitchell's been sensational this quarter particularly. Bateman had that knock, spent some time on the bench getting a bit of footy.
Campbell and Marek. Marek got a fingernail on it. Lewis. And the number 3 this year, Lewis, after the 40 last year. Edwards. John Cock shrugs the tackle, tries to knock it out. Campbell stole it. Rolling ball, Boyle. Riley pinched it, gave it to Goodwin. Goes wide. No chance here. Does well in the end. Bernie Vince gets the kick away to half forward. But it's all Hawthorn. Guerra spots Bateman in the middle. Puts it on his chest. Bateman plays on. Franklin's the intended target. Can't quite get there. Bock got one a little high. Rutten and now Massey. Burton's short if he wants him. Bock gives to Burton and he's away from half back.
He's indeed. Right in front of the interchange area, Perry. The run of McLeod is good. The skills are great. Adelaide look good now. Moving the ball forward, Vince. Long ball, Edwards. Did well, the Hawks. Edwards recovered, though. He wants someone to help. Hodge. Vandenberg. In one side, out the other. Clark. Looks to kick it low. And long, looking for Boyle. Boyle's got to beat a couple. Probably happy to see the boundary in the end, with just under 3 minutes remaining in the third.
Yeah, well, they do look likely, don't they, Adelaide? I mean, we've McLeod and Goodwin and Edwards and these blokes, Burton, who have not been super prominent.
Neil Craig in the coach's box there with David Noble, the former Western Bulldogs assistant. Now with the Crows. High tackle.
High tackle.
Okay. That's Jordan Lewis. 2 minutes 37 remaining. Lewis has got the ball just forward of the centre wing on the outer side here at Aurora Stadium on a spectacular night for football. Ball driven inside the 50. Hawks need something to happen in the air. Williams at ground level. Hard at it was Massey. Franklin picks it up, was stripped of the ball by Riley. Franklin, second effort was good. Got to get it out now. He'll be pinged. Should be pinged for pulling the ball in. Correct decision.
He's not far away, is he, Buddy Franklin? He just, again, does everything right, but just the finishing of his work tonight has let him down a bit.
Bock to Edwards to the outer side. Chris Massey takes some time, pops it up, hoping for Biglands, who's having a rest up forward at the moment. Caught, good tackle. Jericho back to Biglands, inside 50, bouncing ball. Henschel might give it off, goes for the goal instead, and has snapped
it. Metropolitan Plumbing.
There's only a minute and a half just over left, and the Crows have got a little bit of a mini run on. They get 2 goals in a row. They lead it by 10 points. As we come towards three-quarter time, Jordan Lewis shrugging to tackle Smith. No one at half forward for the Hawks. John Cock overrunning the ball. Ball now picked up in the end by Bock. Short kick is good. Needed to get the hands out in front, Jericho. Well done by Guerra.
Great kick.
Hawks to Williams. Marks. Surely he would know roughly the time. A minute and a quarter left. Little chip kick. He's a very unselfish forward, which is unusual. And the Hawks will have this one before half-time. Clark, who's not a long kick, will get the opportunity for Hawthorn.
Well, it's I don't know whether Mark Williams wouldn't have been as good a chance. That was a beautiful kick from Franklin. But anyway, Tim Clark's got it. He's in the leadership group. We saw Vandenberg kick an important leader's goal. He needs to kick this, Tim Clark.
Need a little right to left about this one. Gets out, and there it is. It's coming back now. Well done. Beautifully measured. The Hawks just before three-quarter time are within 4.
Williams, who picked 23% of Hawthorn's score last year. The first time anyone's done that for Hawthorn since Jason Dunstall. And Tim Clark has made it a 4-point ball game with seconds remaining.
Thanks, guys.
Now he might have enough time here for just a ball up and a takeaway. 11 seconds as Clark gives it back. Don't hold the call. Marek slaps it down. Taylor can't quite get it out. Seconds tick away. And that should do us to three-quarter time. A 4-point lead to the Adelaide Crows. Neil Craig and Alistair Clarkson. They know what's on the end of this, and that is a perfect preparation for the season proper. The winner of this clash will play Melbourne next week in a semi-final of the NAB Cup. If it's Adelaide, it could be a game played at Amy Stadium, and it might be at the Telstra Dome if Hawthorn get up tonight. Don't go anywhere. 4-point lead to the Adelaide Crows at three-quarter time.
Quarter-time break.
Oh, just our clearance work was really good. We won the clearances in the quarter, 8-3, and probably just over handballing a little bit. The conditions are quite slippery, as you can see. Guys are dropping chest marks, so just get it on the boot, move the ball forward. Anything centre forward, let's get it in there.
So where do you think you can win the game?
Oh, I think we've got the scoring end this quarter, to be honest. All the score seems to be this end, and our forwards are just starting to get the handle on the ball, which has been really good.
And a great moment for big Max Bailey too.
Yeah, if you had a look at the box went up as one as well, to be honest. Terrific moment. He's going to be a great player for us in the future, so we're looking forward to his development.
Thanks, mate. Good luck. Just before I go, boys, Hayden Skipworth was off for the end of the third quarter there with a bit of a left leg injury. I'm not sure if he'll start this final term on the ground or not, but I'll get back to you.
Good on Jonesy, thanks for that. Slippery conditions. Some of that rain that Brian Taylor said was in the hills must have just snuck down and we didn't see it, Brian.
Moisture, humid, Gary. Humid.
Humidity.
Here tonight is very, very high. And that is why rain is a possibility.
When was the last time they had humidity in Tasmania?
Even though it's been a 43-degree day here.
Well, we are set up for a big last quarter. There's no doubt about it. When it gets to this stage, all bets are off. It's going to be a pretty intense final quarter. You'd expect the big names for Adelaide, who have been pretty quiet, let's be honest. McLeod and Goodwin, particularly, Edwards, Thompson as well. They're really prime movers in the middle of the ground to get busy.
Do you see them playing most of the quarter, Gary, those prime players?
I think so. They haven't been overextended. I mean, they have spent a fair bit of time on the bench as Edwards is about to start there once again. But the Hawks have been able to answer most challenges, but it is the Crows with a 4-point margin.
It is indeed. Start of the last quarter. We've got a tight one here at Aurora Stadium in Launceston. Crows and the Hawks, Hodge through traffic brilliantly. Williams has got the sit. Should have taken the mark. Now it's Roughhead. Gathers. Ladson has got plenty of it tonight around the corner. Vandenberg did well. The punch away then from Matner was good, but here's Franklin. Keeps it alive. What's inboard? Goes the left foot drop punt. And kicked it out of bounds on the full across the face.
He's an exciting talent. I probably banged on too much about Lance Franklin tonight, but he's got some athleticism and recovery. His recovery back on the footy for a 6'5" man is exceptional.
Thompson has it in the back pocket for Adelaide. They've got Henschel playing in defence at the moment too, Adelaide. Kick towards McGregor. Half-back flank over his head. And content to take it out of play is Campbell.
Well, Henschel, he's just waving at the moment. Right now he's up against Roughhead. He's got his hand in the air. McGregor might be pushing back there.
From the ball in, you heard the play on call. Slick handball from Bernie Vince is good. John Cock, chip kick, half forward, bouncing ball. Nice pick up, beautiful pick up. Jericho from Super Goal territory. There it is.
Wow, a big goal from Jericho. He thought about the handball out to the left, said, no, I'll do this one from 51 metres out. And that is the third super goal of the night. And what was the club?
Waikerie.
$1,000 richer thanks to NAB.
The home of Mark Rasciuto. They still won't take his name off the entry sign.
Ladson inboard to Campbell.
Stay there, thanks. Play on.
Just forward of the centre. The Hawks need one now. Here they come. Williams attacks the ball.
Great
here.
effort, McGregor.
It was indeed, Gary. Very courageous indeed. The Crows in numbers out the back door. The poise of these experienced defenders. starting to show a little now. Riley inboard. Thompson. And here's one of them. McLeod just pleases himself what speed he goes at, but beats all comers at most speeds. Over the head. Campbell Brown's got to tidy up. Sees Crode inboard, so well done. And not sure what Trent Crode was doing there, but it's given Burton a chance. From Super Goal territory, goes short. It'll be costly. Jericho again.
Well, Adelaide Crows are steadied like the very, very good side that they are. Some of the experienced players starting to win a bit of footy, but it helps when Trent Crode kicks like that. Now, what was he thinking? Game in the balance, just puts it up there.
Jericho to make it a 19-point lead early in the last quarter. Comes in, kick on the waist, hit the post. It's back in play. Play on. That's the rules in this NAB Cup. And the Hawks out of defence safely.
Got out of jail there, so little handball is good to Hodge from Ladson. And now Smith trying to make amends, couldn't outmark Burton, but he outruns him here. Left foot kick towards Franklin. Matner falls. Franklin, Matner's over it, gets it out. John Cock.
Good effort.
Lends assistance, goes wide to Burton. Has a bounce, make that 2, 3, 4. He might go the whole way. Sends it long, no one's in the goal square. They get back, and Danny Jacobs got back first in front of Jericho and took the mark, pops it up to Guerra.
So frustrating that, though, to have 4 bounces, probably only needed to have 2, but then blows away and kick to an unmarked Hawthorn defender. I mean, that just poor return when you got the footy in space on your own.
Clinton Young from Minya Matoa has played 7 home and away games for the Hawks. Gives it outboard and finds Brent Guerra. The Hawks need to find some scoring opportunities. Senior player, former Bomber, Jacobs with the ball at half-back, has had 21 touches tonight. Clark, little soccer, will be out of bounds on the full, I think. It will indeed. So free kick Adelaide. True centre wing here. And looks like it'll be Rutten.
Nice return to form, Danny Jacobs. 21 tonight, 25 possessions and 8 marks last week. So good to see him playing some good footy. Rutten, short, Perry.
And not just floating on his own terms, Dwayne. That's been the impressive thing. He's had responsibility for a man all night. And Trent Henshaw, who kicked 6 last week, and he's been able to keep him under control.
Perry hasn't quite been as potent this week either. Kicked 4-2 last week. Rutten and John Cox share the ball. Chip kick wide, and there's the man, Danny Jacobs. So at half-back flank, he holds it up. 57 plays, 44. He goes backwards. This will be play on. Lewis under pressure. Burton cuts it off. Ball alive. Burton slams it out. Does well. Henschel drifts down. And he slams it home. He's got 3.
Have kicked 4 of the last 5 goals and lead it by 19 points with just under 13 minutes remaining in this game.
Great effort, Brett Burton, Brian.
Still a chance, the Hawks. Thompson to half forward. Got a difficult one on that occasion, did Vince. Thompson, McLeod. A lot of Adelaide players swarming. Here's my man Riley. Got it inboard to Biglands.
High tackle, back here. Back here as you're kicking it.
Umpire Martin Ellis telling Biglands that it's his kick, too high.
Slow play now, so I'd expect a lot of the Hawthorn midfield to push back into their defensive 50 to try and clog up some of these holes. If they're able to hit an Adelaide player in the lead here, LSC Clark's going to be less than impressed.
Wasn't chosen for round 1 last year at Biglands, but did play every game after that. Kicks inside 50. Burton. How did the umpire view this? He's given it to Burton.
Well, he's seen a jumper tug here from Joel Smith, obviously.
Yeah.
Marginal, but they tend to pay them when they see the jumper come away from the body. They get a bit trigger happy.
It's technically there, but you do like to see those contests, don't you?
You do.
Burton did initiate contact early, and this could seal it. Good kick of the ball normally. That is a spear. And the Adelaide Crows can smell the semi-final.
Is all smiles. Crows have kicked 3 in a row in this last quarter to extend their lead to 25 points. Biglands didn't even leave the ground. won the knock just through timing. Hawks have won the clearance though. Vandenberg on the end of this chain of handballs. Long inboard, no mark, off hands. Miller was superb, runs to the goal. That's the one they needed that they didn't get. And Miller curses himself.
Disappointed with that, Harry Miller. Chance to keep them in the contest. Goodwin goes long towards the wing, dropped by Knights. He's been sensational all night. Will allow him one error.
Some of that humidity just coming into play there.
Must have been, yeah.
Very slippery conditions out there.
2 games last year, Chris Knights made his debut against Hawthorn in round 15. From the ball in, Bigland's got a hand on it. Lewis got a handball up. Good wraparound tackle on Clinton Young. He's taken across the line by Riley. Will get another ball in.
Powerful, aren't they, Adelaide? They're a powerful side. Even the young players have got strong bodies. Work hard.
Biglands does well in the contest against Campbell, who drives in. Stolen by Mitchell. Good clearance specialist to Miller, to Young. Got around a couple. Handball just behind Lewis. Grabbed by Edwards. Chip kick. Bode. He can go all the way here. Runs inside 50 and misses to the near side. Chris Jones.
A few injury concerns down here for Adelaide. Hayden Skipworth, he's icing his left calf. We said at that 3/4 time break, he probably missed. Robert Shirley also off for the rest of the game.
There's Jones there. Down on the boundary.
Hasn't had to go for the umbrella just at the moment.
Has had it by his side all night though, because you never know with the humidity. Campbell Brown around the corner. They're both ganging up on me. It's very unfair. Clinton Young.
This bloke has been great, Ladson.
He has. He has been superb tonight. Short ball.
Crowe's gone forward.
Trenko. Ladson's had 31 disposals in the game so far. High ball. Adelaide players line up for the punch here. Burton was one of those. Miller kicked the last goal for Hawthorn. Was in the hunt there still. Harry Miller working hard. Here's Roughhead. Needs to keep it alive. Boundary line. Throw in deep for the Hawks.
It's a good option that to take it out of bounds, because the umpire comes in 15 metres and throws it to the hot spot.
Look for some space over the back here. Tyson Edwards covering that.
Biglands and Campbell do the ruck work. Biglands knocked it down. Lewis caught. 3 Crows have got him. He doesn't get it out in time. Edwards got a little rolling ball off his boot towards defensive 50. Vandenberg left it behind. Wants to go back in and make amends.
Sit on his back with the knee.
You heard it. Richie Vandenberg's ball. Forward pocket. Tough kick. Centering ball. Play on. That was inside 50, or was it touch?
Touch.
That's why he called it play on. Bateman to Mitchell. Around the body. Miller's down there full forward. Thump clear of him by John Cock. Ball still alive. Hawthorn still alive if they can goal here. Rutten tries to send it outside 50. Unsuccessful. Goodwin got the hammer to Matner. He in turn to Burton. Runs it beautifully. Poise and a bounce. And with balance gives to Riley. And again to McLeod. They're away. McLeod looks up. Perry presents. And can't quite grab it on the second attempt. Ball back again. And Guerra will run it out for Hawthorn. It's hot stuff at the moment. There's still time for the Hawks if they're good enough.
Tired, I reckon. There's some tired boys out there.
You get the feeling that the Hawks know that the next scoring shot, if they can get it, they're in the hunt. Here's Mitchell. Long driving ball on the head of Ruff. On the head of Roughhead. He'll get the free. Roughhead will get the free interference. Got a push. Almost directly in front, 20 metres out.
He's called it against Ben Rutten. They had 3-on-1, so there was no real need to push. This is a good lesson for Jared Roughhead. You've got to keep presenting, keep going to the contest, and you might get a lucky one.
This would get them within 19 points with just under 8 minutes remaining. Roughhead has got it. They're within 19, the Hawks.
An Adelaide fan, definitely a free kick if you're a Hawthorn fan.
One of those ones, yep.
Probably in the end, it was a bit marginal, a bit like the Burton one at the other end. You got to pay it.
19 points. 7 minutes and 45 seconds, and the Hawks get the takeaway. Nice palm to Lewis. Kicks it long. Big fly Boyle. Can't bring the mark down. John Cock caught, dispossessed. Ladson Tries to go in and get possession, number 32, and he does. Little handball out sideways to Bode, though. He in turn to McGregor. Bouncing ball. Jericho, boundary line, Lewis, Smith. The two Hawks combine nicely. Smith to Lewis. Rolling ball. Ladson. He hasn't made a mistake all night. Has now. Makes amends. Reese. Back to Smith. About to get collared. Good tackle. Got a handball out just in time. Bateman shrugs the tackle. Kicks toward 50. Harry Miller's got it. Too far out to score, and he knows it. Centering ball. Rough head. No! Van Berlo. Back in the hole. Takes the mark.
Well, they're under enormous pressure at the moment, the Crows. The Hawks need to keep throwing up opportunities. Here's another one from Big Campbell. Got the numbers, Adelaide. Rutten, a little bit iffy at ground level, just on that occasion. Has been good, though. Free kick, Adelaide. It'll be Rutten's ball. Half back.
Important mark of Van Berlo. He was the loose player standing in the hole. It was just one of those ones that was drifting around a bit, but he was very sure with his hands.
19 points Adelaide's way. You can see the clock ticking. 6.5 minutes remaining.
If you're a Hawthorn player, you start thinking super goal here. Is it that stage?
Chris Knights probably is, Gary. They're 19 down with just over 6 minutes remaining, would certainly help. Short ball here. Ends up with Vince. Vince goes forward. That one's out of bounds. Pursued by Chris Knights, who's kicked 2 tonight. One of those a super goal. Not bad for a youngster. And we'll have a boundary throw in true centre wing.
Close, guys.
Adelaide to host the semi-final if they win tonight.
And they'll take on Melbourne. Joel Smith over the top to Lewis. Here go the Hawks. Crow! Oh, dropped the chest mark. Slippery conditions, Gary. Crow from super goal territory. Roughhead! Roughhead's going to kick 2 in a row. And the Hawks are going to get it to within 13 points.
Well, there's life in this yet, and Jared Roughhead, he is just persistent, and now it's starting to turn for him.
Here come the Hawks. Roughhead's got 2, they're within 13.
The countdown is on.
2004 priority pick, pick 2 in the draft, and a lot expected of him, but his shoulders are holding strong right now. 2 goals in a row. Up they fly, Campbell, but down to Goodwin. High kick to half forward. Henschel flies from 4 deep, can't mark it. Knights couldn't break free. Little handle backwards was good to Jacobs from Brown. Guerra goes wide to Ladson, another possession. Chip kick good to Mitchell.
He's been good.
70 plays 57. 13-point lead and Crowd. Half forward, gets the free kick.
Yeah, they've got to go quick because they've got 3 on 3 deep.
5 minutes and counting. He goes long and high. Down there, not able to take the mark, but off hands. Oh, Williams got higher. Umpire didn't fall for it. Max Bailey was up there. Williams was there. Bailey flew. Williams stayed down and didn't get the free.
Good call, I reckon.
No, I reckon it is too. Not sure whether he touched him. We'll have a look at when we get a chance in the replay. But here's Edwards. Play goes on in the meantime. Edwards under enormous pressure. Got himself out of trouble to Riley. Riley with a play on handball wide to Thompson. 4.5 minutes remaining. 13-point ball game. Kick to half forward. Mark Campbell Brown strong. The Hawks are throwing everything at the Crows at the moment. And Campbell Brown says, settle down, fellas. Every Adelaide player is currently forward of where Campbell Brown stands.
Williams' non-decision may have been the bravest of the night, or one of the worst. We will see shortly.
Simon Taylor. Short ball to Reese. Can go short in the middle if he wants. Adelaide getting back in big numbers.
Big Marek has filled the hole down there. Big Ivan.
Yeah. Young drives it over the top. Here's Roughhead! Oh, he's going to kick 3 in a row and get it to single figures.
Win or lose tonight, Roughhead and Franklin, they are the real deal. Don't you worry about that. This boy was he was a bit messy early, but he's hung in there and he's lining up for his 3rd in 5 minutes.
To get it back to a 1-kick game, keeping in mind the super goal, Roughhead. Oh, he's faltered. And just the minor score.
Crows are just got to be composed. 3.5 minutes on the clock. Use the footy.
John Cock to Edwards to Burton, who's free on the wing. Just doesn't want to turn it over, and he does turn it over to Williams.
That's not being composed, Wayne.
Williams has Hodge in the middle if he wants him, but it was a dangerous kick. But You're going to have to start taking chances shortly. He goes wide, Sewell. Inside 3 minutes. 12 points the margin, so it's 2 kicks either way. Gets the call to play on, goes high. Marek under it, waits, got it. Nice mark.
Well, they took so long to kick it, and then they kicked it to an uncontested player. They are the things that would be frustrating to Alistair Clarkson.
Now, this is where the new rule comes into play, because Adelaide must kick the ball forward. They can't kick it backwards to run down the clock, so not as easy as it would be in the home and away season to possess the ball for the 2.5 minutes. Let's have a look at this one where we thought Williams got it high. That's high.
Oh, yeah.
That is definitely high.
It was accidental, but it was high, and that is a free kick.
Yep, and that was right in front of goal, 10 metres out. McLeod through traffic.
Good player.
Talk about poised.
Good player.
One of the best in the competition, and that is a good result for the Adelaide Crows deep in their forward line with just over 2 minutes remaining.
Well, now they'll set up across the middle of the ground. They'll keep a couple of Adelaide players back, make it difficult. What are we looking at there?
Harry just copped the nose of Brett Burton. Boundary throw in. Taylor working hard. Bode, Campbell, Brown. Here go the Hawks. They run. Young caught by McLeod. What will the umpire pay here? Dropping the ball. Adelaide's free.
And in pretty good hands too with this man here.
Got a couple of options inside 50. Goes wide, and Bode might kick the sealer.
He's up in Adelaide's best, is this boy, Matthew Bode.
It's a great story, Matty Bode. He wasn't drafted as a 17-year-old, so he quit footy completely. He moved to England, and he went over and played sub-county cricket as an opening bat in the Bolton League.
Did he?
Played a year of cricket over there. Missed footy so much he came home and got drafted by Port Adelaide. Played 29 games there before joining the Crows. Good story of perseverance.
Should write a book on him, Dwayne.
He's persevered tonight, and he has kicked it behind.
Well, it would appear now that Adelaide are through to the semi-final. Next Friday night, we think, at this stage.
It is next Friday night, Gary. Yep. And you think in Adelaide?
I would have thought.
Don't just wipe them off just yet, Gary. Give them another 20 seconds. McGregor off half-back.
There still could be rain too, Brian.
That's right. Thunder.
Oh. Mitchell put his head down, said the umpire, and so no free. Alistair Clarkson. Look at those numbers for Rick Ladson and all of the Hawthorn players in the top 4 there.
Looking around, guys.
Some good numbers for their possession getters. Goodwin. Thompson. Backwards, Van Berlo. The stand and deliver to centre half forward will be all the Hawks. Ladson, leading possession getter on the ground. Here's Guerra. Straight to Mitchell. They need to go direct. Crows on the lead. They ignore that. They want to run the ball. Taylor kicks it long. Can anyone get hold of it at that end of the ground? No. And John Cock will tidy up to McGregor.
Dying seconds, the Adelaide Crows into a semi-final against Melbourne next Friday night, and it's likely to be at AAMI Stadium. 13-point victory. They started brilliantly, kicked the first 3 goals of the game, the Adelaide Crows. Scores were tied up at half-time. A good Hawthorn comeback, but the Adelaide Crows, one of the favourites for the 2006 AFL Premiership, into a semi-final of the NAB Cup.
That's a very good result for a very, very good team. In fact, I think both coaches would walk away pretty happy tonight. This Hawthorn side gave a pretty good account of themselves against quality opposition, and some of the young players again, well, it gave Hawthorn supporters good cause for optimism down the track. Tyson Edwards, one of the super veterans for Adelaide, will be playing in the NAB Cup semi-final next week. He's down on the ground with Chris Jones.
You'll have Melbourne next week. It was a good win tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit of a battle for us. Hawthorn played really good footy and made us work really hard for it, and we could only play as well as they'd let us. You know, they played pretty well tonight. We're happy with the win now. You got a pretty good sweat up. What's it been like tonight? Yeah, it's been pretty humid tonight. The ball was really slippery. There was a fair few fumbles, made us a little bit silly, but yeah, it was a good workout for us. We counted that you've probably got 8 of your best players still to come back into the side, so you're going well early, aren't you? Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a good opportunity for all of us to get some game time, but more importantly for the younger guys and for some older guys to play in different positions and get used to some different roles. So it's a good start for us.
Well, we think you might be in Adelaide next week, so good luck.
Thanks very much.
There he is, Tyson Edwards, veteran Adelaide Crows star. They did it nicely. They didn't overextend their big-name players who have got a few years on their side in Goodwin and McLeod, and we spoke of Edwards there. They exposed some young players to footy. Knights was impressive once again. Van Berlo's a player. Jericho kicked an important goal when the game was still very much in the balance. They got a game into the big man, Big Ivan Maric. He looks a likely type. And then you go to the other side of the coin, Brian, and the Hawthorn debutant in particular, Bailey, that big mark, that's enough to hang your hat on to say, well, he's going to be a chance.
Fantastic. Kicked the goal, put Hawthorn 5 points in front at the 20-minute mark of the third quarter, important one. And he looked pretty comfortable when he got one-on-one down there. McLeod and the older players, as we suggested, coming into the play later in that last quarter to get them home.
Rick Ladson, super night tonight. Player that missed through injury last year, but again, he's going 35 possessions after starting the game on the interchange bench.
He's missed the last 4 games with that broken arm. Adelaide Crows have Bassett, Matthew Clark, Doughty, Ben Hart, Mark Rasciuto, Tawney and Welsh all to come back into their lineup. So Mark Rasciuto wanted to play tonight, but Neil Craig said no, 1 full week of training before you get to play a game, so he definitely will play next week.
Well, one of the reasons why they would be genuine flag favourites, and now one of the NAB Cup flag favourites. It ended the last 4. It's Adelaide tonight at Aurora Stadium by 13 points.
And even though you two were planning on generously donating this fine keyboard to my lovely daughter Summer Hoyland,
and respected by the foe. Admiration of the nation, and determination shows. We're on of South Australia.
Just a pre-season rendition of the theme song there, Bryza, but they are through the second